the Nothing Phone 2, integrating iMessage into their device. Now, it was announced yesterday morning. I put out a video yesterday explaining the announcement, what it means to the tech world in general, right? So it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's a very, very big deal. In my eyes, it is. Now, you ask the average person, let's say you go to downtown or you go to your local grocery store and you just stop a random person and ask them, have you heard of do you know what a nothing phone is? And no, you could ask 1,000 people. There's not one person that's going to know. It's such a small niche device, but it's a very, very needed company and device in the tech world. Now, obviously, have you heard of an iPhone? Oh yeah, I know what an iPhone is. 1,000 out of 1,000 people will know what an iPhone is. Um, but look, let's go a little deeper in what it means. Right? We got into a little earlier the poll the survey that asked the bunch of teenagers around the country, basically, do you have an iPhone, or if you don't, do you plan on getting one as your next phone? And 88% of the teenagers from 13 to 19 years old said yes. Yes. So this market is very heavy dependent on iPhone as far as the younger demographic. Now, I say that because the two reasons, the next question, when they said, yes, I have an iPhone, or yes, I plan on getting an iPhone, the next question was, why? And the two main things that were brought up that the teenager said was, one, FaceTime, right? That makes sense because I'm sure their parents, family have iPhones. But the other reason they said they were going to stick with iPhone is because iMessage. So FaceTime and iMessage. Now, we'll see, but I don't think anything can be done with FaceTime. I'll give you the middle finger. So the last thing that the other thing that keeps them buying iPhone is iMessage. So we can eliminate one of those two reasons for keeping teenagers stuck on iPhone. Nothing is bridging that gap. Now, the announcement came yesterday. We did a video about it, explaining it. Now, going into last night and this morning, I started to, your mind starts to wonder, and like, yeah, I wonder, especially somebody like me that's, I'm a very detailed person, but a technical background, I guess you could say. Um, how does it work? How do they do it? Right? Like, okay, everything's gonna work. Your read messages, right? So if you're on your nothing, oh, well, hang on. If you're on, I'm trying to get ahead of myself. If you're on a nothing phone, you nothing phone two, and you message an iPhone user, right? After nothing chats application is available on the Google Play Store, and you download it and start using it. Like, how does it work, right? So the iPhone user, if I message somebody with an iPhone, it'll look just like another iPhone. Message them. The read receipts work, meaning like you'll be able to tell if the iPhone user read your message. They'll be able to tell if you've read their message, and the typing dots work on their end. Typing dots work on our end, on the Android end. The photo's clear, video's clear, it's encrypted, so everything works, right? It just works. So, right, how do you do it? Well, we did get some news today as far as how this works. Now, I'll get you into it right now. So nothing worked with Sunbird. This Sunbird is a Sunbird application that basically now their app is in beta. I've been given access, but I haven't used it much, and quite honestly, I don't know many people that have iPhones, so that's why if you go to the Sunbird, and I'll put a link in the description, if you go to the Sunbird website, if you go to the App Store and you download Sunbird, it'll say it's in beta or you have to sign up. So if you go to their website, you sign up, and you basically get on the wait list. Um, they're rolling it out in segments. So the Nothing developers worked with the Sunbird app developers that are basically pairing these two worlds together. And it's interesting because let me pull up just how exactly they do it. It's very interesting. If you're into this stuff. Let's see, where are we? Let me turn the volume down on that. Here we go. So, this article is a great article, and it basically describes how everything works, right? Oh, and I did find out real quick. This is not available. Bummer. This is not available on the Nothing Phone 1. Unfortunately, I assumed it was. There was no news yesterday. Now we've learned it's only available for the Nothing Phone 2, which sucks, but I mean, it is what it is, right? Um, yes, so Nothing is launching beta of Nothing Chats. Promises to give the phone 2 compatibility with iMessage. Nothing Chats requires you to connect it to your Apple ID. Nothing claims its messaging app is private and secure. So, there were some people that were raising concerns. I don't know why, but I mean, look, I guess privacy concerns or wanted more detail. How are you going to do this, right? Explain yourself. They've announced the biggest mind blowing tech news in years, and people want to know, how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, this is how they do it, right? Explain yourself. And again, it'll support RCS, right? But that's not the big news. The big news is iMessage. So let's see how they do it, right? So this is a Nothing spokesperson, so I'm assuming somebody from their PR team at Nothing. And they said, here's how it works. Once you log into the Chats app, the Nothing Chats app, for the first time, using either your existing Apple ID or creating a new Apple ID. Your credentials are tokenized in an encrypted database and become associated with one of Sunbird's, which is the app they were working with, the developers. So once you sign in with your Apple ID or creating a new Apple ID, your credentials are tokenized in an encrypted database and become associated with one of Sunbird North America or Europe-based Mac Minis, depending on where you're located, creating an encrypted relay for iMessages sent through the app. Once the relay is created, it's locked and cannot be accessed by Sunbird or anyone else, even if they had access to the physical server or even if they had access to the physical Mac Mini itself. The only action Sunbird can take with the relay is to delete it. So basically what they're doing is they're taking, okay, so Sunbird has basically, I'm assuming two locations. So they have a Europe data center or database and a US data center or database. And basically, they have, I'm sure, probably thousands of Mac Minis, actual little, it's like the little desktop. It looks like a little Android TV box, right? It kind of looks like this. Kind of looks like this, like a little box, right? The Mac Mini, you know what they look like. Well, apparently, those you can sign in to a ton of Apple accounts on those Mac Minis. So what they did is, I'm sure they have thousands of them in a data center. Now, once you sign in on your phone, on your Nothing Phone 2, and you create an Apple ID, creates an Apple ID on that Mac Mini, wherever their data centers are, whether you're in the US or in Europe. So it'll physically route it it'll route it, your Apple ID, to a physical Mac Mini. and then from there, it'll communicate between you and your phone, and then between you and your phone to whoever the end user is. So if I, let's say, text my uncle who has an iPhone, I'll be texting him. The It relays the message, relays back and forth through that Mac Mini to my uncle, through that Mac Mini to my uncle. Now, as they were saying, those Mac Minis, um, they cannot access if somebody gets into that data center and tries to pull info from the thousands of computers that they have. They're saying uh, no, once the relay is created, it's locked and cannot be accessed, whether it be by Nothing, Sunbird, or anybody that has physical access. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, I kind of figured that's how they did it, but I wasn't 100% sure. I had a couple other ideas in mind, but I'm glad we got some explanation. It was really cool. The spokesperson further added that Sunbird has certification and is currently working on ISO 27701 certification. That is an international recognized specification for an information security management system. Nothing reportedly partnered with Sunbird because it delivers end-to-end encrypted messages without ever storing them at any point. And remember, Sunbird cannot even access it. The London-based firm also says that the information Sunbird holds onto is the account email, but Sunbird deletes that information if a user is inactive for 2 weeks. So they're saying all the only information we hold is that simple Apple ID, and that's it. And it will be deleted if you don't use it for 2 weeks. Interesting. While in this publication, Android Authority says while we still have our concerns, at least Nothing has shed some light on how data will be handled for its new app. Nothing Chats will be available on November 17th in the Google Play Store for the US and other countries. So, yeah, it's very interesting. I'm very excited. Can't wait to get again. I think I'm being honest here. My sister has an iPhone. My sister, her husband have an iPhone, and there's somebody that I do record podcasts with. Excuse me, two people I record podcasts with that have an iPhone. So it's basically, very small number of people, but I'll definitely come. What is that? Friday. Download it, sign in, start testing it out. So yeah, big news. And this is the brains behind the operation. But look, it takes somebody. Excuse me. It takes somebody or something or an entity like Nothing, a company, to take this first step. Now, I hope Apple, I'm sure they are flipping shit over this because they know that, that's what's holding people onto iPhone. So, let's see. I got a message. Let me wrap this up. So, as I was saying, it's imperative. It's big news. Again, taking that first step. So, I hope Apple, knowing them, they probably will try to do something legally. I hope they don't, but knowing them, they might. But I mean, look, they're technically Nothing and Sunbird. I don't believe are breaking any rules or breaking any laws. In fact, I know they wouldn't do that, right? They have their legal teams. I'm sure scour through all sorts of laws, documents, and all sorts of stuff. They found a legal workaround, bridge, so to speak, to pair iMessage and in their Android device. Now, Samsung's not going to do this. Google's not going to do this. You know why? Because Nothing probably only sold, probably a few 100,000 of these Nothing Phone 2s. So they, let's say however many number of Mac Minis they have to have. If Samsung or Google did this, and they can do this the same way. However, they would have, you know how many phones they sell? Millions and millions of phones. That would just be too big of a scale to operate, basically. So this is perfect for nothing to carve out a niche. They found a niche advantage and are taking advantage of it. So I think this is brilliant. I cannot wait to test it, and we'll see how it goes. So, for eSIM Studios, my name is Taylor Bell. Thank you very much for joining us today on this really exciting day. A ton of stuff going on. So, please join us. Subscribe to the channel. If you got any questions, comments, if I got something wrong, you want to correct me, please do. I always welcome that. I know a lot, but I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know everything, but I try. I try for y'all, right? I try. So, anyways, subscribe to the channel, comment, like, share, do whatever you want with it. But take in the information. But just promise me you'll catch me on the next one because we're gonna have a ton of cool stuff on the next one as well. So, again, eSIM Studios, I do appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and we will see you on the next one. Peace out.